Alright guys, real quick, just going to use this opportunity to shill my other platforms. You can find all my links on my Linktree page. The main pages I'm going to be using other than YouTube are going to be Minds, Odyssey, BitChute, Rumble, and Truth Social. So if you guys want to give me a follow over on those other platforms, I'd really appreciate it. But without further ado, let's get into the video. Alright everyone, what is up here today? Jigsaw0097. Sorry, this is a little bit of a late reaction. I watched the game today, but I had a lot of other things going on, so I wasn't able to actually sit down to make the video. But as per usual, we will go over the stats, and unfortunately, guys and fellow Eagles fans, the Eagles are no longer undefeated in the year of our Lord 2022. The Eagles fall 8-1 to the now 5-5 Commanders, the final score being 32-21 Redskins. Sorry, I don't want to say Commanders because I think that name is stupid, so I'm just going to call them the Redskins. So anyway, yeah, the Redskins, they had a pretty good game here. As far as, from what I understood, it was really their run game that got us, because if you look at Taylor Heineke, his stats were pretty average. I mean, he did have a lot of yards, but he was 17 for 29, 211 yards, 0 TDs, 1 INT. But if you go to Brian Robinson, he had 26 carries for 86 yards. Antonio Gibson had 44 yards. So right here as well, Taylor McLaurin, 128 yards. And then it looks like Gibson and Robson had a touchdown. And then it looks like Derek Forrest on their defense had a touchdown, but I think that was in garbage time at the very end of the game. The Eagles, and yeah, that's what it was. I looked up at the end of the game. It looks like the Eagles were trying to do some fancy play, and a guy picked it up and got the final Commanders touchdown in garbage time. So sorry, I had to be clear of that. I didn't quite remember the end of the game because I was just assuming they'd lost and the Redskins were just going to kneel the ball to win, but it looks like the Eagles tried to do some trick play at the end that didn't work out. So that's why the score was so high. It was 32-21. So, but now moving on to the Eagles stats, guys. So again, this wasn't a terrible game stat-wise, but Jalen Hurts looking pretty average in this one. It was 17 for 26, 175 yards, 2 TDs to 1 INT. So you know, he was still really good, but a little bit average. And this is really where it shows. Miles Sanders only had 54 rushing yards. Jalen Hurts only had 28 yards. Quez Watkins on the receiving end had 80. Devontae Smith had 39. Dallas Goedert 23. And A.J. Brown only had 7, guys. He only had 7 yards. So this was just a game where, you know, like I say, I go any given Sunday, and complete congratulations to the Redskins for beating us. It's always tough in division matchups, no matter what division you're in. These are what I call trap games, and you know, like I said, the Commanders are kind of the Redskins, they're kind of picking it up. Sorry, I'm going to call them Redskins, like I said, because I don't want to call them the Commanders. I have to get out of that habit because that name is stupid, and they changed the name for woke, dumb reasons that I will not comply with. So anyway, the Redskins, again, it was a tough game. The division games they can be tough. You know, there's always the more you win, right? In the league, doesn't even matter if you're undefeated. The more you win, the more of a target you put on your head, and it makes teams want to beat you. And so, it's good that we lost now. I mean, it does suck that we had to lose to a division opponent, but you know, we already beat them once, so now we're tied. I was hoping the Eagles were going to sweep them, but you know, now we've taken care of them as far as the matchups with the Redskins, and then now we got the Giants and the Cowboys one more time. We still got the Giants twice, the Cowboys one more time. So I'm not overall mad about the loss. It does stink that the Vikings beat the Bills, because now the Eagles and the Vikings are 8-1. But again, that's also advantageous because we win the tiebreaker if it really goes to that, because we actually beat the Vikings. So, and just a final stat thing I wanted to go over. The Redskins had 330 total yards to the Eagles 264. They had 178 to 170 passing yards. Eagles 170, Redskins 178. Their rushing yards was 152, so that was pretty high. So even though Heineke didn't have a lot of touchdowns, he definitely got the Redskins into positions to score touchdowns. And so, I don't know, it was I'm not even mad about the loss. Like as you guys can kind of tell, I'm not really like super upset about it. I thought last week was going to be the trap game against the Texans, but you know, it was bound to happen. I hope the Eagles can bounce back from it. We play the Indianapolis Colts next, who now have a Jeff Saturday as their head coach, so they might be a little reinvigorated as far as, you know, they were kind of getting a little mediocre under Frank Reich, and so hopefully for them, I guess, bringing in Jeff Saturday might reinvigorate them, but that might be bad for the Eagles because that could make the game a little tougher, but we'll see how it goes as far as that is concerned. I'm pretty confident in that game. I still think the Eagles can win a bunch more games, and best case scenario now, like I said, is we can be 11-1 by the time we meet the Giants, and you know they'll be sitting pretty if they can get 11-1. You know, I didn't really expect them to go undefeated, but it was fun. It was fun while it lasted. I mean, I think they said 8-0. That's a franchise record now, like the history of the team. The Eagles have never gone 8-0, so you know they made history as far as that's concerned. And then yes, the final thing that I wanted to go over for this video is the standing in the NFC East, and then I also did include the Vikings, as you can see there on the picture, just because I looked at the entire NFC and the Vikings are pretty much the closest to us. We do have the Seahawks at 6-4, the 49ers are 5-4, so there's a lot of 5-win teams. But other than the Vikings and the Eagles and our division, no team is over 6 wins. So the Seahawks are the best team other than the Vikings outside of the NFC East as far as record goes. The Buccaneers are kind of picking it up a little now. They're leading the division at 5-5. But again, if you look at our division, guys, see this is what I am saying. The Eagles could have been 9-0 right now. That would have put them really sitting pretty. But at 8-1, you have the 7-2 Giants right behind us. We have the 6-3 Cowboys, and then we have the 5-5 Redskins now. So this whole division is doing very well. Even at 5-5, the Redskins can still, you know, continue their win. So, and then we have the Vikings at 8-1. So the Eagles, luckily, that one on the Vikings column there is from us. So that means, like I said, we do have the tiebreaker. So hopefully that will work for us if it does come to that. But we're playing a 4-5 Indianapolis Colts team next week. They just beat the Raiders, so they're coming off of that high. But yeah, that's really all I have to say, guys. Like I said, I'm not making any excuses for the Eagles. They really didn't play well. I give a lot of credit to the Redskins defense. It was very good in this game. However, the Eagles did beat themselves. They had a lot of drops. They had a couple. I think they had a fumble, really key fumble, and you know, I almost said Carson Wentz. Jalen Hurts threw an interception, which I think they said he's only thrown 3 interceptions in the whole year. So you know, whatever. It was kind of a bad day for the Eagles overall. You know, the rest could have hurt them a little bit because they had the Thursday night game and then they went all the way like almost like a week and a half of not playing. This is where like bye weeks can kind of kill you. And so I don't know. I hope they can pick it up against the Colts and continue from there. But anyway, that is the video, guys. That's really all I have to say. I haven't been too focused on the NFL lately because I've been following this Kerry Lake, Arizona nonsense as far as the honk honk elections go. But I'm not saying anything's wrong, YouTube, just so you know. Completely legitimate, okay? Completely legitimate. But yeah, thanks so much for watching, guys. I'll make a couple more videos probably after the Colts game. As we get, we'll see what happens. If the Eagles end up losing, there might be more to be said, but I'll kind of just like analyze the NFL again in possibly a solo video. But I just want to thank you guys so much for watching. If you're new to the channel, go ahead and subscribe. Also, if you guys can please hit that like button, it really helps with the algorithm. And then the most important thing, as always, guys, be sure to check me out on those alternate tech platforms that I have put in the beginning. If you check in the description of this video, there is a Linktree link that will just take you all the way to all of my links, and you guys can follow me on there. Because, as I always say, YouTube is a sinking ship. And so, anyway, guys, thanks again so much for watching. This has been Jigsaw0097. I will talk to you all later.